I take my money, I put it in a bank, and it has an expiry date. That's exactly what these Safaricom and Airtel have done, Mr. Speaker. You have put your money, hoping that you are going to use it, and you have not used it. And somebody puts a time limit within which you must use that money. And if you don't use it, it becomes theirs. That, Mr. Speaker, is robbery without violence. In fact, Mr. Speaker, the Honorable KJ, as the leader of the majority, has said, he has a very important task of bringing the minister together with the regulator who took over from me. You know, it looks like he's not sensitive as I was, Mr. Speaker. So when such matters are raised, don't wait until you are dragged into this house. Resolve them fairly quickly so that if money has not been used and it is in your account, it is refunded to you. You don't make it part of your profit, Mr. Speaker. What service have you provided? You have just kept my money, Mr. Speaker, and you have in fact invested it, used it and made a profit. In fact, you should be thanking me and giving me some more bunker points, Mr. Speaker. So it is important that the Minister of ICT, Mr. Owalo, together with the former CEO of IBC, should be brought to this house, Mr. Speaker, fairly quickly by the Honorable KJ, Mr. Speaker. And if he lacks powers, Mr. Speaker, let him invoke Article 125 very quickly, Mr. Speaker, and they appear in this house so that they don't mess up with us. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
What's your point of order, MP for Nyando? Did I hear you say IBC? Okay. Okay. And the current, of course, yes. Yeah. Honorable Nyando, you are on a point of order.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, my point of order, it's very unfortunate the Speaker reads Navaholo as Nyando. My point of order, Honorable Speaker.
Navaholo, proceed. You are on a point of order.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Was concerning the Honorable Member, Chief Konga. Is he not, Honorable Speaker, to reprimand his predecessor that he is not active without disclosing to the House, Honorable Speaker, what portion of the bundles that were not charged during this time?
Order, Honorable. The Honorable MP for Moyale, Professor Guyo Jaldesa. Proceed, Professor Jaldesa. Or you have a problem with technology? Yeah, you can go to the next one.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. The issue of bundles is a very emotive issue because people consume money without knowing. And that should be handled as quickly as possible as the questionnaire raised. Then the issue of telecoms, internet and the Wi-Fi, the telecommunication system in the country must be spread across the country so that everybody is able to be reached according to their desires. Thank you, sir.
Fair enough. MP for Saku, retired Colonel Didoraso, wherever you are.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank Honorable Yusuf for raising that. I think today 70% of the population of this country are youth, most of them in colleges and universities. This is what they use on day-to-day for their studies, for their communication, and to also work online around the world. But if the service providers are going to take advantage, and yet most of these youngsters depend on many of us, including their parents, who make a living by doing hustling, then I think the service providers are not doing justice for the large majority of the population of this country. I call upon KJ, because he's an avid user of technology, that these things must be brought to an end. We must check them And they must actually rebate to most of the young people that if you spend 10 shillings, they should give you a rebate of 5 so that they are paying back to Kenyans. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Mayaka, nominated MP, Irene.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also support the issue on mobile internet and the use of it. And being a young person myself, I know that the internet is where we spend most of our time when you want to do research, when you want to communicate with people, and especially for the young people, as has been previously said, a lot of the research work that they need to do even at work, and even for their own social use, they really need to use this particular service. So I think this is something that should be dealt with in a very urgent matter. And I do agree, and the good thing, my chair is here, the Honorable KJ, who is also a technology-savvy person, that this particular matter should be taken up by our committee so that we can interrogate it further and make sure that we give a solution that is actually amicable to everyone. And also, Honorable Speaker, it's not actually only the young people who use the internet, even our parents, they are now technology-savvy, and they do use network bundles. And as has been said, the telecom providers are taking advantage of this because they know that the increment of use of this particular service has gone up in our country. So yes, I agree that this needs to be interrogated, and urgently so. I thank you.
The Honorable Nyamai, MP for Kitui South.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, first of all, I would like to thank the member for Kamukunji, Honorable Yusuf, for raising this matter. Honorable Speaker, our constituents are being misused by the mobile companies. I would like to give you an example of my 3 locations. One location called Mudha, another one called Kasala and Kanziko. These 3 locations can have no network for about 7 days a week. And when someone has purchased bundles and 7 days expire, then it is important that the mobile companies tell us where have they been taking these bundles. Honorable Speaker, I would like to ask the Honorable KJ to request a refund for the people of Kitui South and the others in the 290 constituencies that have lost money through this scam. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
The MP for Mogotio.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to support Honorable Member of Parliament for Kamukunji, because as a young person, Mr. Speaker, many young people of my age and those younger than me have been using these internet bundles without there's no CSR from this company to the young people. They invest their time using these bundles. The bundle expires. We don't know what is hitting these bundles at night, Mr. Speaker. You load bundles in your phone. When you wake up tomorrow in the morning, you are told to load another one. I don't know what is hitting them at night, Mr. Speaker. And we have to look into these technos on how they use these bundles at night, Mr. Speaker. And now they intend to give back to those people who are investing in these bundles. What are they doing for CSR to the young people who are doing this? Do they have any plan of any training to these young people so that they can use this internet to their advantage to generate income, so that they can use this internet as a way of education? We must look into these companies, Mr. Speaker, because they are enriching themselves using these young people who are active, because the current situation in this country, Mr. Speaker, is that there is less jobs and many young people find time with their phones. Then these techno companies take advantage and siphon the money out of their phones through bundles, Mr. Speaker. We must look into it, Mr. Speaker. Honorable KJ should work on it as the chair and deal with them so that they can lower the cost of internet, Mr. Speaker. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
The MP for Rangwe, Dr. Lillian Gogo. Is she here in the house? Okay. The MP for Igembe Central. Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First and foremost, I want to congratulate Honorable Hassan the MP for Kamukunji for bringing this motion. I believe whatever you buy, you own. And when one buys the bundles, you own those bundles. And the bundles are yours, and you shouldn't be given a chance to use them when you need to use them. So these companies are really defrauding the users, and they should be made to understand that what you buy is yours, and they should give the users an opportunity to use the bundles when they are at the area of use. In most rural areas, there are no network connections, and if you buy bundles and you are in town, when you go home, you will never use them. So if you hang around at home for maybe a week or 2 weeks, your bundles expires and you lose your money. So I think these companies, the mobile providers and the airtime providers, should be made to understand that they should give us time to use our bundles until they are over. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The MP for Wajir South.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I would like to thank the Honorable Member for Kamukunji for raising this very important issue, the issue of the telecommunication companies stealing from their customers has given rise to some other issues and characters we've seen and observed in some of my constituents. Whenever they call me on WhatsApp, they immediately switch it off because they don't want to lose their data. And it's very, very difficult sometimes to get back to them because they don't switch it on again. So this is a very important matter to almost every Kenyan. But there's also the issue of the infrastructure for telecommunication. In my constituency, vast areas do not have network. And in places where the masts are and the network is available, it's at 2G. And most of the cost of the data.
What's your point of order, the Honorable Majority Leader?
Honorable Speaker, I was just concerned, Honorable Speaker, because the Honorable Member said that when his constituents are calling him on WhatsApp. And I was just wondering, Honorable Speaker, since freedom came, we are no longer using WhatsApp to call, unless there is a section of this country that the public feels that there is no freedom, they still have to call on WhatsApp. And I want to encourage the Honorable Member. I know he is from a divide that may not believe that freedom